back in the shop. It's a chilly morning here in Teal. I got my coffee going. So if you guys watched my last video, you would have seen this Sanitube. Now when we did the coffee table, I used it to put the top on and stain foot and that kind of stuff, which was awesome. I used it as a stand. So I did mention in the very last video that I was going to do something with this, and I wasn't sure if I was going to make a video or not. A couple of people messaged me on Instagram and said they'd like to see it, so here we go. We're going to make this video. It's going to be a real simple video. It's not going to be as complicated as the coffee table with lifting and so forth. It's just going to be a cylinder tube cut with a top. We're going to do the boning all the way around or riveting all the way around. This can be very cost effective if you guys want to try something like this at home. You don't have to use oak. I mean, I used oak on the table, so I'm going to do that for this. Oak is a lot more expensive, but you could do it in pine. It would look great. If you wanted to, you could do it in pine and do an oak top if you wanted something harder material, or a maple top for that matter. You could do it even with plywood if you like, or a live edge. This depends on what your look is going to be. So what I've done here is I've gone ahead and marked my height. This is my sofa height, or the arm of the sofa. I want to go slightly higher, so I want it more to be an even number. I think it's 22. I'm going to go probably to 24 or 23, but let me just double check. So yeah, it's 22 and a half. So, and then with the top, so let's mark it at 23. We don't want it too high. Let me get a Sharpie. So let's mark 23. 23. I'll make a few marks going around. Now, this is a real simple way of getting my cylinder. And yes, this is paper combined with, I think, wax on the inside for the concrete and so forth. Just do another one here. And just scrape that one down. Okay. So there's a couple ways we can get a straight edge on this thing, and one is with some masking tape. I'll use a thinner one. Let me grab one. I did have a thinner roll out somewhere. What did I do with it? Oh, there it is. So what I'm going to do is, yeah, very fun. And I'll mark 23 here. Why do I feel like I'm way crooked? Huh. Let me see something, guys. Oh, it's just an eye thing. It's messing me up. Okay, so what we'll do is, got to trace this out. So we're going to create two pieces. We're going to create a piece for the bottom and a top that's going to slide into the tube, but we're not going to put it in right away. So let me get my pencil, and we've got a piece of wood here that I have left over from the coffee table, piece of the maple plywood. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to trace it. Now, when you buy one of these tubes, guys, you want to make sure you try to buy the straightest one and the roundest one, of course, because you will find them pretty crooked. And if you're going to trace it, always trace it with the same end, just in case there's any variances. There we go. We got the one. And we'll put this one in here. Move this piece over. All right. Now this is going to go inside the tube. So because it's going to go inside the tube, and of course we're tracing the outside of the tube, we want to cut the line. And the thickness of the blade should do it justice. Oh, hold on. Why are you doing that to me today? Okay. Moved a little bit. Okay, let's just redo it. A little darker. Okay, I'm happy with that. So we're going to go with a darker one, I guess. You know what? I don't like that one. Let's do it again. I'll do it over here. I'll do it on this side. Too many lines, can't see which one is which. Not happy with that. I'm going to slide this one down. I mean, I can't use any of this board after the fact, so. Ah, come on. Don't do that. There we go. Okay, I got a good circle there. I'm happy with that. Now we'll cut these guys out, both sides, and we should be good. It looks a little bit like an egg for some odd reason, but we'll get it figured out. Let me get my jigsaw and a battery, of course. And we'll cut those out. We'll get that out of the way. Then what we're going to do is we're going to work on the actual top. The reason being is I want to make sure that it's perfect and glued. Okay, so we need them to be perfectly the same. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to drop just a couple of pieces of super glue on them and glue them together, and then we're going to run them through the belt sander and make sure that they're perfectly the same. And then I'll round up the corners. Let me get a little bit of super glue. There we go. Now I can smoothen out all around those edges with the belt sander. That's just accelerator. Get the cure faster. Then we'll run that around the belt sander, and that should work out pretty good. And then I can just tap it and it should come apart. Okay, so let me move this out of the way. I did buy some new sticky pads for my sander. Okay, let's remove that front plate. Put this out of the way for now. I think we need a blade to scrape that off. I'm just going to use the blade to get it started. There we go. Now I got to clean that off. Use a little bit of an emery pad here. I'm just going to lightly spray some brake clean on it. Okay guys, so that should be dry enough. Now this comes off, the sticky pad. There we go. And we got a new one on there. So let's get these screws back in. If I'm not mistaken, we're good. Now, usually, guys, when I'm doing that, I am using my shop vac system. The only problem is it's really loud, so I decided not to. So let's pull this out. I'm going to bring it back to my makeshift bench, and we'll move you over. Okay, so we're nice and smooth there. We're very good, very happy with that. I am going to mark it so we know what side is what. And let's give it a tap and see if I can get it to pop apart. Should be able to. There we go. And of course, we'll make a mark there, so we know. And these guys, if I'm not mistaken, are like so. So what we want to do is mark. Okay, so that one's ready to go. Now, I will move this out of the way. Just put it on this table saw for a second. So now the game plan is to cut this thing. Now those are actually not going to go in right away. So we want to cut it on the outside of this line. We're going to use the jigsaw. I should be able to get a half decent cut out of it. There we go. Half decent cut, happy with that. Put that aside. Perfect. Okay. So what we're going to do next is we know the thickness, the diameter of this is 12 inches. We've got those pieces there. So we know that we're going to do about an inch on each side. We'll bring it to 14 inches diameter, right? So then we want a little bit of an overlap, an inch on each side. So 14, that's going to bring us to roughly about 16 inches, right? So the thickness of my boards here, let's just confirm. Like so. How about we do a firm measurement and let's see. So I can show you guys exactly what I mean by, just pop it on there for now. More of a visual that way. Okay, so that's my fluting, right? That's going to go all the way around. So now I'm going to get my tape measure, just to get an idea. Okay, so I'm actually, let me try to, more or less. Come on. What do we got? So we got 12 here, right? Roughly. And we got 14 here. Okay, so that's roughly just slightly under an inch. So this is actually an inch and 3/4, an inch and 3/4. That's 3 inches. So it's 13.5. So 13.5, we're going to add 2 inches to 13.5. So you're at 15.5. So at 15.5, you're sticking out about that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make it slightly bigger. I'll do 16. And that'll give me a little bit of play. So around our plate, our top piece will be 16-inch round. Okay. So we decided to do these at 20. I'm going to cut that one at 20. Everything's been cleaned up. So I've got my pieces here. And these pieces went up pretty good. Not bad. Okay. So what we're going to do here, I'll pull out another tool. See if you guys have ever seen a tool like this. They make all kinds of different ones now. This is a biscuit joiner. You get some biscuits. I know it sounds like we're having tea, doesn't it? There should be a piece that goes on there. Okay, so with this, we need to figure out the depth, and we want to do it in between. This tool is actually a really simple tool to use. It's not that difficult. So it's got a guide, if I can loosen it. Hold on, it's going to come down now. There we go. So you can do the thickness of your wood, of your material. Okay. And then you tighten that up. So it doesn't move. Okay. Now that's going to put a blade that's going to go in the middle of that, okay? And there's a little red mark here, so you can decide where you're actually going to put them. So what I like to do is you want to try to be, as square as you can, of course. And we want to try to keep them within our distance. So I'm going to make a mark here, mark here. We'll offset the mark a bit. So let's go inside. And let's go inside. Put this guy back here. And we'll plug this guy in. And then we're going to glue it and put clamps on it. Now the other one I had was too big. And I couldn't get enough with it. So I was struggling to try to get pieces to work on that. So you hold this like so, you got your button, you line up your red dot to the piece, and you... Now let me show you. There you go. So it creates a nice slot in the wood that you can actually put that biscuit in there. And the biscuit fits in like that, okay? The key to success to this is whatever top you're using, on all of them, they have to be the same. So you have to work off the same side. Don't switch up the side because you'll mess up your project. Okay, so that's all I'm going to need for this tool. I am going to wrap it up just because it's not an inexpensive tool, and I won't be buying myself another one. We'll unzip this. There you go. Let's unplug it and put it away. I don't want to drop it. So why I'm doing this now is I want it to dry. Let me bring you in just a little closer so you can see what a nice job that does. Go. Clean this off. Yeah, you don't want to have any sawdust or any particles going in between while you're gluing. So you got to really make sure you got it cleaned up. Now, we're going to need our glue. And let me locate that. What did I do with it? Huh. I thought I had it out. I could have swore I had it out. I guess not. Maybe I threw it away. I might have. Yep. Okay. So what you want to do with this now is just get a nice generous amount of glue in the slot. All sides. Okay, so I don't have anything to. What she's done. So then you just take your slot, put it in, and remember you had made those marks, right? So those marks you want to line up. There we go. Okay, we'll put this guy in, put this guy in. And then we're going to line the other mark up. And we get those lined up pretty good, pretty even. And then we're going to clamp her together. Now that's going to keep this thing from shifting. I won't snug it in just yet, guys. Just going to lightly give it a tack. Get the other side on. Excuse my back for a second. see if I can give you guys bird's eye view on what everything looks like. I'm just going to make a nice piece of oak. It's going to work out beautiful. Then I will go over it with a belt sander, make sure it's nice and clean, and we'll do our circle. All right, so we'll leave this over here to dry. So guys, I got my table saw set up. We're going to do a bunch of 1-inch strips. Now I've got a couple of pieces here that I had left over from the coffee table, and we're going to use them. Nothing's going to go to waste. I did get an extra piece, full size if I needed it. So I'm going to rip a bunch of 1-inch pieces. I needed roughly about 36 of them. Once I cut them all, I'll set up the miter saw to measure out perfectly, so this way I can use it as a fence and just keep them all consistent. And then I'll run it through the router, and we'll bullnose them. So let's give this a cut. Okay guys, so I got all my pieces cut. So now the game plan is we'll grab a bunch and we'll bullnose them all. What I'm going to do is I'm going to look at these and make sure what side I want and make sure it's clean. I'll grab a piece of sandpaper. As I do each one, I will go over, give it a light scuffing. This way I don't have to worry about it later. So, you know, you'll have a nice side and you'll have the so-so side, right? You want to take your nice side, of course, and router that, because that's what you're going to see. Okay guys, I got them all done. 37 pieces, bullnose sanded and ready to rock and roll. We're going to go grab the glue. I got my stapler out, so I'm not going to use nails on this thing because it'll go right through that cardboard. But the stapler should hold out quite nicely, I'm hoping. And I went ahead and did a line, if I can find it. There it is. So what we'll do is we'll prep one, get it in there, we'll see how the stapler works out. Should work out pretty good. And then we're going to put a square up against it. So let's get some glue on this thing. And I got the compressor running, so I tried to, there we go, and I'll put up a square up against it. And I'm hoping that stapler will fit in there. I'm going to need a little extra meat. There. Too. Not sure why that happened, but it did. Of course, drop everything. Well, that worked out well. Okay, let's just make sure I got square down here, off the bottom. There we go. and that'll hold nicely. I should see if I can get one in the middle. All right. Go. Wow, there we go, guys. 2 extra. Very happy with that. Okay, so now we've got these guys here. We got to get these guys in. And that's going to be a bit of a challenge. I should be able to, there he goes. Okay, we'll be able to do that. So we're going to need our nailer. We're going to nail those in. I guess I got some nails in this guy. I do. Okay, so let's glue that. Take the staples off. And we want to glue this. Go down too far. There we go. Just wipe my hands. Done the base. That came out really nice, guys. I'm really happy with that. So we got to fill in these spots. I got to punch in a few of those nails because the compressor didn't have enough air. I'm going to find my punch. I'll punch those in a bit. You can tell I'm a metal guy, eh? the hammer of choice. Okay guys, so I've got her all done. Now we have to sit and wait for this glue to dry. And once the glue dries, then I'll take that board apart and we'll cut the top and sand this down, stain it, and she's all done. Good morning, guys. We're back in the shop. We're gonna continue on this guy. It's dried up real nice. I did go shopping first thing this morning just to get some wood putty because I ran out. Okay, guys, so I've got all the wood putty done all the way around the edges. I finished the top of this one because this is actually going to be the very bottom. I'll sand that smooth. And the reason why, if you remember, when I cut this, I cut it 1/8 or 2/8 larger than the actual size is required. this gave me a little bit of a rim around that Sanitube, so I could fill it with the wood putty, sand it down, and we're off to the races, and it's clean. No one's going to know that was a Sanitube in there. The other side doesn't really matter because I'm going to put a top on it. So let's take this apart. It's looking pretty good. Looking pretty good. I'll put these out of the way for now. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to actually mount this to the table just to make sure when I'm running my belt sander on it that that doesn't move. I mean, it's just so it doesn't shift. All right. It's looking pretty good. Let's grab the belt sander. It should be good with the belt that's on there now. Should be good. There we go. Well, I need some power. So guys, I've been on it for probably about, I don't know, 3 or 4 minutes. And she's looking pretty good. I'm going to get the small sander and we're just going to go over it and see how she's doing. It's looking pretty good though. Let me grab a battery for it. Okay, so I'm happy with that. I'm not going to put too much emphasis on smoothing out the whole thing until I measure out exactly what I need. So we know that this part here is going to be the bottom because we've got that thing filled out. And this is going to be the top. Now we also know that we have those biscuit joiners in the middle. So what we got to try to do is center this guy out as much as possible so we don't actually cut any of those out. And I'm pretty good right there. That looks pretty good. Okay, so let's get a pencil. We're going to do a freehand draw right around. Let me sharpen this guy up. And then what we're going to do is we're going to take a look on how to make this thing a little bit bigger, right? Okay, let's move this out of the way. And we got our section here, which looks pretty good. So the game plan now is to try to make this thing bigger. So there's a couple of different ways we can do it. One, we can grab a piece of wood and then just slightly trace over it, okay, every section, and make it bigger. That's most likely what I will do. I want to have an overhang. Not a huge overhang, but an overhang. So I'd like it to stick out just a bit. So that's actually a pretty good thickness. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to line this guy up beside it, and I'm going to make a mark. Now, I can try tracing this out freehand, which will work. There we go. See, that works. And just continually make my mark. Line it up pretty flat too. And this is going to be the bottom. There we go. Basically do that all the way around. Then I will get my jigsaw and cut. If I'm not mistaken, the actual biscuits I have in there are closer in. So I should just miss them, so I won't have that to worry about. But it's drawing out pretty good. Once I finish drawing it out, I will definitely show you guys, and we'll go from there. Okay, guys, so I've got her all traced out. I'm going to lift it up so I can show you. So that's the original drawing of the actual base. And then I went around it freehand. So now what we'll do is we'll cut this. So we should be good. We shouldn't be able to miss the, the biscuits inside there. So let's give this a cut. And then what I'll do is I'll concentrate just on this instead of, wasting all my time on the whole thing. There we go, guys. There's my piece. So let's see what this guy actually looks like. I mean, this is the bottom, so just want to kind of give you guys an idea. There we go. Now we're going to run that through the belt sander and make sure I got it all beveled out nicely. And then we will work on smoothing it out completely. But it sits on there nicely. And then I will figure out exactly where to place it. But it looks pretty good. I think it's going to look real nice. There we go, guys. We've got a really nice solid piece. We're going to finish this. We'll sand it up. I'll touch up any spots that need to be touched up. And I'm just kind of balancing it out. But we still got to bullnose it, right? But there she goes. I got her pretty well evened out. Not bad. I'll bring you up a little closer to that. That looks awesome. You can't see a seam. Beautiful. Okay, so we're going to get these tools out of the way and we're going to bullnose it. Let me put this here for now. And I'll grab my router and bull nose. And we're going to need a wrench for this guy. So we're going to bull nose both sides. I think that's going to do it. Tighten that up a bit. So what I want to do is I just want to double check my extra piece here and see. I've got the exact same bull nose, which is great. Okay. Let's bull nose this thing and we'll go from there. So I'm going to move this over this way. Actually, we don't need this belt sander plugged in anymore. Where can I hang this that it's not in the way so you guys can see what I'm doing? How about if I do it up here like this? I think we can do that. So let's give it a shot. There we go. Now let me get a little bit of hand sandpaper and we'll sand it just a touch around the edges. Slightly sand the corner a bit. Now this is the bottom I'm sanding. I've got an X on the bottom. This is the piece that's going to be glued. There we go, guys. She looks perfect. Now I got an X here. That's telling me that that goes at the bottom of this guy. There we go. That's looking pretty good. Okay, so now what we're going to do is throw some glue on this thing. And then make sure she's lined up perfectly. And my glue, of course, is put away. And then we'll use that small stick for the spacer again, right? Now, space here, space there. space here. Okay guys, I got the workstation all cleaned up. We're going to go ahead and get our stain. And get a rag, some gloves. We're going to give this thing a coat of stain. Now, the game plan is not to put any pressure on that top plate because it was freshly done. So we don't want to create any issues. We want that glue to set. But it's set enough that I can go ahead and stain it. I'm going to put on a pair of gloves. This way we can keep this thing moving along. But as far as the build is concerned, she's there. Pretty brown looking right now. But that's how the other one looked too. So guys, I've gone ahead and gave it a second coat. And the second coat combination is varnish and stain combined. It's looking pretty good, pretty even. So I'm going to go ahead and give it another coat of varnish and stain. I want to get it a little bit deeper and even out the color. And then I will let it dry. And then once it's 100% dry, I'll give it a final coat of straight up varnish, matte varnish. It's looking pretty good. And there's a couple of spots that got to be evened out a bit, but we'll get it even on this coat. So guys, this is the third coat. It is real even, which is nice. You still can see all the wood graining. It's still wet, so it's pretty shiny. It will matte out. Once it mattes out, we'll give it light dusting of some steel wool, and then we'll give it its final coat of varnish with no stain in it. So just clear varnish, and of course it's going to be matte. So let's just dry overnight. And then we'll see you guys in the morning once we're ready to give it its final coat. Okay guys, so got the final coat on it. Get the heater turned on in the shop today. It's a chilly one out there, so it takes longer to dry. But I did this side first, and you can see that it's matted out nicely. So top, of course, is the last piece I did. It's pretty wet. So we'll let her dry, and I'll show you when it's done. Good morning guys, we're back out here in the shop. Table's dry, came out real nice. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna get the feet on it. We're gonna get the felt on, get my super glue. I'm gonna do the same thing like I did on the other one. And we'll get, I need to flip over my own tongue this morning guys, I'm sorry. Let me have a sip of coffee. But once we get the feet on, then I'll bring it in. But really happy on how that turned out. A nice little table, and it'll accompany the other coffee table, which is nice. So on this one, I'm going to use these long felt pieces, and what we're going to do is we're going to give it a couple of different sections that we're going to put those on there. Move that out of the way. Now, what I like to do is, of course, work on a clean surface. Let's grab a towel so we don't scratch the bottom. I think this towel will cover it. Yeah. There we go. So we're going to do the same thing with the super glue. Let me just see how these things will line up. Yeah, they'll do pretty good. So what we'll do is 3 and 3. We're going to put more than we would normally put because it's more of a round cylinder. I don't want it to fall or tip. Most likely it'll be easier to tip. So take out the super glue. One wasn't going on. There we go. So I'll just put a drop of super, just a drop on each side. 1, 2. Slightly away from the edge. good. I think we're gonna have enough with this. And we'll do one here, one there. In the middle somewhat. Might be a little overkill, but that's okay. There we go. Look back on this thing. I think we're good. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to rub the bottom of that. I feel like there's still some sections that are, no. Good. So, okay. Very happy with that. You know what? The floor is swept. So let's put her on the ground. Let's take a look. So guys, I will bring this in and I'll take a pic and I'll put it up on the top of the corner here so you can see what they look like side by side. Guys, she's all done. I got the feet on. The varnish came out really nice, nice and matte. It's going to complement the other coffee table that I built. If you guys watched to this point, I truly do appreciate it. Consider subscribing. It helps the channel grow, keeps me motivated. And if you like the video, throw me a thumbs up. Guys, thanks for watching. We'll see you on the next one.